Welcome everyone, thanks for coming out today. I'm Karena Stipp and I'm a senior specialist realtor. And today we have a number of 4 ladies from CCRC's Continuing Care Retirement Communities. So we're going to introduce and each one will tell you a little bit about themselves and their community. And then we'll get to some kind of the meat of everything, a little bit about living in CCRCs. So we're going to start out with Beth Holden from Springmore. She's the Director of Sales and Marketing. She's been there over 26 years. And
28 actually.
28 is wow. I was borrowing the slide from the last time you were here. So she is a North Carolina native and a Meredith College graduate. So welcome, Beth.
That's what I was saying.
Oh, thank you.
Tell a little bit about yourself and your community right up. Yeah.
And you want me to come up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're good.
You can scoot that over if you want a little.
Here.
There you go.
Okay. So y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. So as Karena said, I'm Beth Holden. I'm Director of Sales and Marketing at Springmore. Been there 28 years. Springmore is a locally owned nonprofit continuing care community. We are excited to celebrate 40 years this fall. So we had our residents move 40 years ago into the community. We're on 42 acres in Northwest Raleigh. As Karena said, I am a North Carolinian. I was born in Rocky Mount, went to Salem Academy, then Meredith College, worked at a continuing care in eastern North Carolina before coming to Springmore. So I'm excited to be here and look forward to answering any of your questions.
Okay, great. And so next up we have a new, not even completed, it's being built. Hayes Barton Place is a new continuing care retirement community inside the Beltline. And we have 2 ladies that are representing Hayes Barton Place. Ann Janvier?
John B.A.
John B.A.
All good. I'll answer to anything.
Okay. And Donna McCaskill. I should have checked that with you first. So you each want to take your turns and come up and introduce yourself, tell a little bit about Hayes Barton.
Whoa. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Donna McCaskill, and I am the Senior Residency Counselor for Hayes Barton Place. Ann and I both came from, we opened the Cardinal at North Hills, which we'll hear about a little bit more, several years ago, and then had the opportunity to bring another life plan community up in Raleigh area on Overland Road. So we're right off of Glenwood, easy, nice central location. We're ecstatic about it. It's under construction. But we will have the full continuum of care. We'll have 214 independent residences when we're completed, and then we'll have 85 private accommodations in the healthcare building for assisted living, memory support, and skilled nursing. And we hope to start moving folks in January of 2025. But in the meantime, we do have a neighborhood design center on Fairview Road that's got a kitchen with all the custom features in there, as well as a master bath. So we'd love for you to visit us on Fairview Road to get an idea about what Hayes Barton Place will look like. Then Ann will come and talk about herself.
Yeah. Hey everybody, my name's Ann John B.A. and it is a strange last name. My husband's from New Orleans and that's where the name comes from. Yep, I'm from Raleigh, and as Donna said, she and I both I started working at the Cardinal in 2017, the day they opened. So I loved being there for that first 3 years just to kind of really see how a community's run. Anyway, I'm from Raleigh. I grew up, I'm very close to where Hayes Barton Place is being built, and we're just thrilled to be a part of this. It's lots of fun.
Wonderful, welcome, thank you. Okay, and Kimberly Ledoux from the Cardinal.
Hi everyone, my name is Kimberly Ledoux. You can tell by the funny way I talk, I am not from the South, but I got here as quickly as I could. I was in sales and marketing for a very long time, and then I moved my mother down from New Jersey, and she ended up living in one of my sister communities. And it was then when I fell in love with this model of senior care, and my mother lived at Abbotswood for 9 months before she passed away, and it became my mission to work for the company that gave me my mother back, because for those 9 months I was just able to be the daughter again, and that was an incredible gift that my company gave me. It took me 10 years because the turnover is so low, as we know, and I'm very happy to report that I've been with Kisco for 3.5 years, and for the last 1.5 years at the Cardinal. The Cardinal is a continuing care retirement community. We have about 300 independent living apartments. We have 58 assisted living apartments. We have 18 memory care apartments, and we have 15 to 20 skilled nursing beds, short-term rehab. We opened in 2 phases. These nice ladies opened it up, and they went to Hayes Barton. Now I'm here, and we opened up a new expansion, a 19-story luxury senior community. So I'd welcome the chance to tour any of you, and I can't wait to hear what you all have to say. Thank you.
Okay, so the first question on the screen is, what is a continuing care retirement community? Because I think it can be a little muddy for some people who aren't familiar with the life plan communities. Yes? So who wants to speak to that? What is continuing care?
Well, I mean, well, here, you want me to get up?
Yeah,
Okay.
probably the microphone just to
I
be
mean,
sure.
continuing care is exactly that. It is graduated levels of care. So we all have independent living, which is going to be the majority of what the residents are living in. But then as your healthcare needs change, you can then transition to either assisted living, memory care, skilled nursing, and rehab. So we have all of those levels. And so that's basically what a continuing care is, so that you can move in as an independent resident and enjoy the activities that we provide, maintenance-free living, you know, develop new hobbies, friendships. But then if your healthcare needs change, you have that available to you in continuing care communities.
And it's once you move in, you're there for life, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that's one of the differences, for instance, between starting out, if you were to go to an independent living community and that's all they provide, there's no nursing, there's no, you know, unless sometimes there's outside companies that come in and provide a little bit of care, but not the full spectrum.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And what do CCRCs offer? Somebody wants
CCRC?
So continuing care retirement community.
Okay.
Okay. And all of these communities are continuing care retirement communities, so that they cover the whole spectrum.
So from a living standpoint, we, pardon me, we provide your residents, but we also, again, assisted living are for people who need care. Let's say you're falling a lot and you're maybe in the night, and in independent living, it's not 100% different than where you are at home, because you wouldn't want any of us to go and help pick you up if you fall. That would be a bad thing, because none of us are trained in that. But in independent living, you can bring in some care. So a lot of times people will go have an operation, or just start to need a little bit of help, maybe bathing and dressing and that kind of thing. But once you start needing care where you're pulling a cord a lot and you're falling, or you're starting to bring in so much home care that you're becoming a prisoner in your residence, then it might be time to move over to assisted living, where there's 24/7 CNA care. I don't know, I can't speak to everybody, but there's a nurse banker's hours, and then most people find success in their lives if they have a dementia diagnosis and they move to memory care. I think the big one is wandering. And it's not just, I forgot where my car is, because that happens to me on the daily. It's, I'm going back to my house in Plainfield, New Jersey, and no one can stop me. I mean, that kind of thing. Or a diagnosis of Alzheimer's or whatever. Then there's also short-term rehab. And an interesting fact I find is we all think nursing homes, right? Like when you think of senior care, you think, I remember when my grandmother was in a nursing home. But it's 8.2% of the population will need a skilled nursing for the rest of their life. But 90% of us will need a rehab at some point in our life. So what we provide is, if you need that skilled nursing, it's fantastic, because your staff are our staff. So you're able to talk to the nurse. You're able to talk, and your family can talk to them. So it's not scrambling to find a place after you've had a fall and now they won't let you live at home. But the other thing too is the short-term rehab, and I don't know, has anyone had the fun of trying to find a rehab in Wake County? Yeah. So to know that you can go right back to your community with their staff and know, oh, okay, Teresa's gonna be taking care of me, or Susan's gonna be taking care of me. That's the real, I think, advantage to a continuing care retirement community. So that's on the healthcare and the resident side, but as far as activities, I think we all offer an amazing array of activities. We have 2 calendars now, one just for activities and one just for exercise. So we have speakers coming in. We have, I'm sure we all provide transportation out to events. We bring in events. So it's very what you want to see in there. We're not going to tell you, you're going to play bingo and you're going to love it. It's very much interactive with our residents, what they want.
And I just want to speak to the continuing care, the CCRC name. So the powers that be several years ago said, you know, that continuing care retirement community sort of sounds like a downer. So let's change the name to Life Plan Community. And that is what a CCRC really is. This for people planners. People are planners and they're thinking ahead. They're thinking, okay, I don't need care right now, but if I do need care, where am I going to want to get it provided? And why don't I start out in independent living where I can build relationships, get to know the staff, get to know who's going to take care of me when I do need that care. And so you're planning your life. And so that sounds much more positive than a continuing care retirement community. So we like that. But I catch myself, and probably all of us do, going back and forth between Life Plan Community and Continuing Care Retirement Community. And I have people sitting in front of me go, well, what? Which is what? So I think that is, and Kimberly's absolutely correct. All of us are going to have a wealth of, and I say going to because we're not there yet, but at this stage for Hayes Martin Place, we're having events and stuff for the people that are planning to move in January, so they can start meeting each other and see the kinds of events that they can expect to have at Hayes Barton Place. But we will all have great calendars. I know I've seen Springmore's calendar before, and it is loaded, which ours will be too. But that's what you want out of a community. You want to enjoy that part of the community before you need the healthcare piece. But you want to know that healthcare piece is sitting right back there for when you do need it. So anyway, Life Plan Community. Think positive.
Thank you. Okay, so one of the things that differentiates a Life Plan Community or CCRC is the entrance fee, and that's different than just pay by the month with independent living and some of these other communities. So would one of you want to speak to that? Like, what are they for, and are they refundable?
Well, mine is
very different.
Yeah, so mine's a little different. So Springmore, there are different types of continuing care. You have your type A contracts, and then you have your type B and type C. Springmore is a type B contract, which is what they call a modified contract. So there is an entry fee or buy-in fee. We do offer 3 different entry fees to choose from. So you can pay less money up front, but you will not have a refund after 2 years of residency. There's a 50% refund, and then there's a 100% refund. And then in addition to that, there's a monthly fee. So the entry fee is paid one time. These communities here, they just have the monthly fee. There is no entry fee. We're just a little bit different. So we do have refundable options. So it's your choice which entry fee you'd like to choose. But the entry fees, basically, we're all guaranteeing your residency. At least Springmore is a nonprofit continuing care. So we do have an endowment fund. So if a resident is approved to move in and for some reason they happen to outlive their resources, there is the endowment fund. So we can guarantee your residency at all levels of care. So that is what Springmore is.
Okay, and one of the things that I don't know that I even put it on my slides, but one of the things that you can do, once you get to licensure or assisted living, that portion of the community, you can dip into your long-term care insurance policy to help pay the monthly fees.
Yes.
So is there anything you want to add to that or speak to? If you have a long-term care insurance policy.
Yes, so when people decide to move to Hayes Barton Place, our financial model is a rental. And what that means is when they move in, they will pay what's called a monthly service fee. And we don't call it rent just because it sounds a little nicer, but it also includes so many amenities. But before they move in, they pay a one-time fee called a community fee. And the way that that amount is figured is, we'll just use ballpark numbers. Say you choose a residence that's $9,000 a month. The community fee for that residence would be $18,000. So it's it's the equivalent of 2 times that monthly service fee. And that $18,000 does not go towards your first and second month's rent. It really just goes back into the community. It goes everything from landscaping to programming, whatever it is. But so it's that one-time fee that they pay up front, which is the equivalent of 2 times the monthly service fee. And then once they move in, they just start paying that monthly service fee. So that's how our financial model will work.
And can you speak to what's included for that ballpark $9,000?
Certainly, absolutely. And every community does it differently, but for Hayes Barton Place, when you pay that monthly service fee, there are just some wonderful amenities that are included. The first of which is a $500 per month per person dining spend down. So at Hayes Barton Place, we're so excited about these. We're gonna have 3 wonderful restaurants in the building and then a great indoor-outdoor bar and restaurant. So that's kind of 4 restaurants at Hayes Barton Place. And each month you have a $500 per person dining spend down. You come and go to those restaurants however you want. It's complete flexibility. Sometimes you just want a salad or a cup of soup. You just go to the restaurant and get that. Sometimes you want the whole big dinner. No matter what you get, that price would just go towards that $500 per month dining spend down. Other amenities are weekly housekeeping at Hayes Barton Place, and they will change the sheets on your bed, which we're very happy about, because that darn fitted sheet is never easy to do. But housekeeping every week, transportation, your utilities are all covered in that monthly service fee, except a landline telephone. Your appliances are included, and so we always joke that if that washer and dryer starts to leak or that dishwasher starts to leak, you don't have to get on the floor with a flashlight. You just call the front desk, and we will take care of that. The exercise programs, the life enrichment programs, those are all included as well. So basically the goal is that you pay that monthly service fee and kind of everything you're going to need, or most of what you're going to need that month would be covered.
And I think all of you have some type of transportation available.
Yeah, and let me tell you, parking is also, we've learned parking is just a hot button topic everywhere in Raleigh, maybe Wake Forest too. And the parking at Hayes Barton Place, so we have a great thing worked out. Each residence will come with 1 parking spot assigned to you in a secured, a wonderful lot just right under the building. And every time you come and go, you have your parking space that is ready for you. Now, if you wanted to bring a second car, you can. That would need to be valet parked, and there would be a fee for that. But what we're also anticipating, we know transportation is included at Hayes Barton Place, and so I think what a lot of couples will do, which is what my parents have done, is they took two cars to their senior living community and realized between the transportation and their 1 car, they didn't need 2 cars. But you definitely have 1 self-parking space and the opportunity to bring a second car, which would be valet parked.
Okay, great, thank you. So what advice do you have for someone considering moving to a senior living community? And any one of you, whoever feels like, take the charge on that.
Plan ahead.
Yeah, it's better to be, I always say it's better to be a year too early than 5 minutes too late. Because
Go ahead.
Because
I think
I hear,
we're
and what do we hear the most? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I'll be ready when I'm 80. And I always say, well, what does that look like to you? I know, like, I just got over bronchitis, and I couldn't decide whether I wanted toast or not. So I can't imagine having to make a decision about where I'm going to live, presumably for the rest of my life, when the discharge planner is breathing down my neck in a hospital. So it's okay to tour. We know everybody is not going to come with a checkbook ready to rent an apartment. Tour now. Do what my mother did for me. Even though she was kicking and screaming when I took her for tours, when my mother literally was in a rehab, then she was doing the long term, which was very expensive and miserable, and I said, do you want me to go see if they have any room at Abbotswood? And she said yes. So she gave me the gift of looking ahead so that I knew I could fulfill her wishes. So if you have family or caregivers or whoever, do that gift, to give them that gift. Find a place that tour, come to all of us. We're all a little different. We all have some similarities, but we all have our own flavor. Go tour now. It doesn't, we hear all the time, I'm not ready for 5 years, 10 years. You know, okay, that's fine. Just come now. Some of us have wait lists. We don't, like right now. And I think that's really the best advice.
Yeah.
Because everybody, and I always say, this is rhetorical, but go home and think about what ready means. And it's breathtaking what you hear. You hear, when I can't drive. Well, why wouldn't you want to get there while you could, or why you could acclimate and meet friends, and, you know, because everybody living there has been in the same boat as you. They didn't really know that many people. Maybe they knew one or two. Maybe they were a little scared. We all have ambassador programs. We all have, you know, so it's much easier. This isn't high school where the mean girls are sitting at that table and the cool kids are over there.
So when you say, Kimberly, that you don't have a wait list at the Cardinal right now, is that for, so help me understand, because usually the wait list is for the larger units and the smaller units are not as popular.
Well, you know, it's interesting because in the course of a day, or how many talks I have, so many people, it's like, no, I only want a 1 bedroom. I want to be on the ground floor. I want to be on the 19th. I want to be wherever. So right now, the Cardinal opened 6.5 years, 7 years ago, and quickly filled up because of my colleagues. And then we just built an expansion, a 19-story tower, East Tower, all connected. If you, wherever you are at the Cardinal, you never have to go outside if you don't want to. It's all connected inside. And we built that tower up. So that has been our focus, is filling up and renting the tower. So there were 151 independent living apartments and 40 assisted. Assisted is full, but that can come and go. And we've got about 8 independent living apartments left. Some are big, some are small.
Okay.
And then we have in our legacy building in North-South Tower, we do have some availability, probably like 10 or 12 apartments, something like that. Once we're full, as statistically full as we can get, then we're going to do a wait list. But at the Cardinal, we realized wait lists are 2 things: an appeasement list for the kids, like, don't worry, I'm on a wait list at the Cardinal. But a wait list is not a reservation. So a lot of people think, I'm on the wait list, I'll just call when I'm ready. But right, Terry, that doesn't necessarily happen. What happens is somebody falls or somebody, you know, something happens. So we're gonna be a little bit more like a ready list, so that we're not pains in the neck calling and saying, Terry, I've got that 2-bedroom overlooking St. Albans, you wanna go? No, not ready, okay. And then we end up being a pain in the butt to you. So at this point, we don't have a wait list.
Okay.
But we will have a ready list.
Okay.
Did you wanna?
So at the Cardinal, back to my previous days.
I saw that drop.
At Hayes Barton Place, because we're not open yet, we have currently what we call our priority partner list. And those people that show interest in Hayes Barton Place. And that's the first step to being able to move into Hayes Barton Place. And right now, we're about 82% reserved in our main building. So folks are putting down deposits on particular floor plans and locations. Now, our priority partner list has folks on it. I know y'all can't really tell, but my colleague over here is a good 10 to 12 years younger than me. I know we look like twins, but we're not. And so most of her friends are on that priority partner list. And the reason they got on it is we know we're not going to see them for 10 to 15 years because they're her age. But they are on that list so that when they are ready, their name is going to drift it up to the top of what will become a wait list when we're 100% full. And they will be up at the top so that they're going to have more opportunity to make choices. Are we going to call them every time something comes open for the next 15 years? No, but they can call us and say, we're ready now, we're looking for this. But for folks right now that are looking to make a decision to come to a community like Hayes Barton Place, now you have the opportunity to sort of have a choice of what you want. If you want a 2-bedroom or if you want a 1-bedroom, you have that more of a open choice for that right now versus what just happens to come open when you decided you're ready. And so it's nice to have, that ability to make that choice now. But it's also good to get on that list for future decision making down the road. And all of us, I know y'all are still filling up. Springmore, y'all were working off of a wait list. Y'all been for a long time. All communities like Hayes Barton Place and Springmore and the Cardinal are going to have wait lists. So getting on that wait list before you're just hit in the face with a decision, need to make a decision, is what we encourage our folks to do. But we really like to help them make that next choice to move on into move forward with that community fee. Yes, sir.
Are there costs associated with getting on a wait list and staying on the wait list?
So I think all of us probably will have it's $1,000. It's refundable for any reason whatsoever. You don't have to tell us why you want the money back, although I did have a gentleman call me last Christmas and say I need to buy Christmas presents, and I'm thinking, well, you might shouldn't have given me that $1,000 in the first place. But anyway, but so we refunded that money. But you can just, whatever reason you want that money, because you've gone to Springmore or you're going to the Cardinal, you've made those decisions, so we'll refund our wait list deposit because you found a home that suits your needs. We are so fortunate here in our area. You've got options, and you ought to investigate your options. You are just really fortunate to have communities, and we're all good. I'd say we all have great well, we don't have much of a reputation yet, but we will have a great reputation.
Confidence.
But the communities that are open and stuff, I think, and speak to the people that are living there. I mean, they'll tell you. Trust me.
I have a question. Are all 3 of these life plan communities owned by the same corporation?
Oh, no.
Or tell me a little bit about that, the structure of the community.
So we are owned by Liberty Healthcare is the parent company. It's not that emu Liberty. And they are based out of Wilmington, North Carolina. It's a family-owned company. They've been in the business for 150 years. We do have a sister community in the area called the Templeton of Cary that is open. But we're one of 9 or 10 life plan communities that they have. They started out 150 years ago with a little pharmacy in Whiteville, North Carolina. And they've just grown and grown and grown and added. They started out with skilled nursing, and then they added some assisted living. And about 15 years ago, they started doing life plan communities. And the first one is in Wilmington at Carolina Bay. So they've got that we've got that nice history with them. I think all of us will have a history, but it is a company that has been in the business and been successful for 150 years.
That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want to finish and talk a little bit about each community and their parent company?
As I had said previously, Springmore is locally owned and operated. So it was developed by a local developer and his wife. They were looking for something in this area for a family member. There really wasn't a whole lot in this area, and so they found the tract of land, 42 acres in northwest Raleigh, and then 40 years ago we had our first residents move. So we are locally owned and operated.
What is the name of the company?
So it's Ammon Springmore Associates.
Okay, thank you.
And Springmore is working from a wait list just because we have that longevity in the area. So we are 100% reserved and occupied with wait lists that are going to vary from 1 year up to 7 years, because our individual houses have the longest wait list. But our wait list folks receive a calendar. They're welcome to come and participate in events on the campus so that they can get acclimated to the community, meet the residents, so that when they move in, they have their friendships. So Yes.
Question, when a couple moves in, and you move into a regular residence, and one of them needs to move to a continuing care facility.
You need an assisted, or nurse,
A
skilled nursing.
skilled nursing.
I understand.
I don't. What happens? Do you both move, or one moves and one doesn't move?
So typically, what we see is that the residents will stay together, maybe with home care in their independent setting, until that spouse does need assisted living.
Okay.
And so typically, they're not gonna move together because you're still in the same community. So you
Okay.
can easily get to your spouse,
You have to pay separate,
yes.
okay,
So the monthly fee for the independent spouse will decrease to the single occupancy rate.
okay.
And then the spouse who's in assisted living will pay the assisted living fee. Now, Springmore does provide what we call eligible days. So you can accrue, it's 30 days a year, and you can accrue up to 90 days to use in assisted living, rehab, or skilled nursing. So you have those days that you can use before paying the
Two separate
assisted living
fees.
rate, the separate rate.
So you're paying for two places at one time?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have any kind of numbers on that? Basically, let's say you had a two-bedroom residence and now,
So like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment at Springmore is about $6,200 a month.
okay,
Because y'all have the 500 spend down.
No, we don't.
You do. You have the 500 spend down. We have $550
okay,
a month for spend down for meals. But the single occupancy rate is about $1,100 difference.
okay.
So for the monthly fee would decrease about $1,000, let's say.
And then the other.
And then the assisted living is going to be about $7,500, $7,800.
Like I did corporate defense, LTC.
Home care, when we were talking about home care and assisted living,
$404 a day.
it's a policy dependent, but there are ways, a lot of times what people do is get home care in place, which is non-medical care, and sometimes that'll help with your elimination period. So depending on your policy, sometimes so by the time you get to assisted living, a lot of times you'll be able to just lock right in and start using that.
If you have a long-term care
If you have
policy.
long-term care
Yeah.
insurance.
And there's a few policies still out there that have no spend down, but most have a 30 or a 90 day where you have to have services before you can lock into starting to use your long-term care
Right.
policy.
It's a wacky world, that long.
And some of that can be provided by Medicare.
Depending. Yeah.
Depending, if that's, my mother-in-law's in that, she's working on that now.
Oh, God.
Yeah, on her 90-day spend down with Medicare, and then there will be some money put with that to get to the 90.
Right.
Because Medicare will only write so many visits, and then she'll get to her long-term care policy.
Okay.
Okay? So, and they all differ a little bit, so you have to ask a lot of questions, and you have a policy.
Right, and there's little differences, subtle differences I'm not gonna get to in the weeds. At the Cardinal, we have 5 restaurants, 15 chefs, and a pastry chef, and we don't have spend down. You just get breakfast in 2 locations, and then lunch in 3 locations, and then dinner in 2 locations. So there's all kinds of options with rotating menus and all that. Now, Kisco is our parent company. We have 22 communities. Currently, we're about to open 3 more, one in Massachusetts, one in Washington, one in Gaithersburg. They are, at Kisco, we've been owned by one gentleman and one gentleman only. It's gonna go into his family after that. He was a professional tennis player, his name is Andy Kohlberg, and after he topped out, he went to Wimbledon, I don't know how far he got, he said, naturally I went into senior living. So we have 6 different communities right here in North Carolina. The 4 total in Raleigh and 2 over in Greensboro. What makes the Cardinal different is we're Signature. And that's a proprietary brand. You know how Marriott has different levels? Out of all of the Kisco communities, the Cardinal is Signature. And so we've raised the amenities to match what our residents want. For example, if valet parking is included, you can visit any other signature community and stay there as well. So that's a little bit of, what was the last question? It was about
Wait list was,
wait list.
did we talk about that?
Kisco. And I think that may be, oh, I'm sorry.
When you
Oh.
pay a deposit and go on a wait list, what happens when your name is up at the top of the wait list and you're not ready yet?
Well, because we don't have a wait list right now, and we're kind of thinking outside the box on it. I know it was the assisted living question. Thank you. We're kind of thinking outside of the box because, like I said, what we found with the wait list is you have 100 people on the wait list, but really only 20 may be viable. And so we don't want to be pains in the neck to people and call. And, you know, to Donna's point, are we going to call somebody who's in their 50s? Probably not. But you never know. So we're really going to try to manage it so that it's a more ready list. Like, okay, Nancy gives us a wait list deposit. I don't know how much it'll be, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than 1,000, which will go towards your community fee. And you say, oh, I really want that, a 2-bedroom facing such and such, but if you call me in the next 6 months, I'm good to go. That's the kind of thinking we want people to think about, as opposed to, like I said, that appeasement list. The question about assisted living at the Cardinal, you can both move together, because couples, darn it, do not age in the exact same way, no matter how hard they try. So what we've done is build, we have apartments that have 2-bedroom, 2-bath, den, and a balcony. So if 2 people move over, one person, they can both go. One person can just live there, and the second person fee goes up a little bit because now you're getting more meals. You're getting more, we're cleaning your apartment more often and all that. But the person who needs the care gets the care they need specific to them, and then the other person can just be the spouse. So that's a little bit different.
Okay.
And I think I'm caught up.
And to go back to Terry's question, I know it's a little different, right, with Springmore, Beth, as far as if Terry's name's at the top of the list and she's not ready.
Yeah, so at Springmore, you can defer as many times as you'd like, and you're not going to lose your place on the wait list.
You still stay at the
You
top.
still stay at the top as of the date you got on the list.
Okay, and how about Hayes Park will be the same? Okay.
I'll let y'all know when we get one.
Okay. And one last question I have for each of you before we get to the formal Q&A for the whole audience. What differentiates your community? What would you say were kind of, the top things that people are looking for that they get just there versus some of the others here in town?
I can go first about that.
Okay.
We talk about this a lot. One thing that's great is we have so many great communities in Raleigh that have a lot in common, but I think what really separates Hayes Barton Place from a lot of them, first of all, is our location. We are being built on 23 acres of land that's just in a wonderful kind of residential part of Raleigh. So with Hayes Barton Place, you have the perfect mix of being part of a neighborhood, but also I think we counted 20 restaurants and coffee shops that you can walk to from Hayes Barton Place. So we have a wonderful location. Also, we have Liberty Senior Living, and Donna and I actually started with them about 4 years ago today. And so we really have gotten to know Liberty Senior Living over the years. They're a wonderful family, and they're family owned and run, and they'll pop in and visit us and really get our opinion about what we want to see for Hayes Barton Place. So we've loved Liberty, getting to know them. We love our location. And our building's just going to be great. We were able to really design some of the common spaces with things that we've seen over the years that we really liked in other places, and things that we wanted to see happen at Hayes Barton Place that are just kind of different. And we're bringing some kind of different things, like we're going to have a croquet lawn and a pickleball court, and just things that, we know we have a great location and a great parent company, but we also want to make sure that we have some amenities that are different as well.
Okay. Beth, you want to?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about Springmore?
So we kind of like to call Springmore a hidden gem. It is kind of tucked in, we're 2 miles north of Crabtree Mall, so we're not that far from kind of the Midtown, what we call Midtown now. It used to be that Springmore was out in the country, but it's not really that way anymore. But we have the mature landscaping, and people describe us as a family community. We're very resident driven. We have 19 different committees through our residents association, so we really listen to our residents to provide the services and amenities that they're interested in. So a community feel and neighborhood family atmosphere is kind of what separates Springmore.
Lots of trees.
Trees, yes, very mature landscaping. We've got lots of sidewalks throughout the community for walking. There are probably 6 Harris Teeters within 2 miles of Springmore. There's going to be a Trader Joe's. There are plenty of restaurants within like this 2 miles. There's Target. I mean, there's plenty. So
What about Walmart?
yeah, within 2 miles. Yeah.
Okay. And Kimberly.
The Cardinal has been described as a cruise ship
People like to pay more.
with no water. We're very proud of our amenities. We're very proud of our offerings. Everything Kisco does is driven by focus groups. We don't come up with anything on our own. Andy Colbert comes and does focus groups once or twice a year. Our apartments are stunning, but at the end of the day, I can show you the most gorgeous place in the world. It boils down to associates.
Don't appeal to me.
We have 430-ish residents and we have 300 associates. We have 98 in dining alone. We have no universal workers, so the person who's serving you dinner will not be cleaning your apartment the next day. We all have benefits. They all have benefits. They all have retirement funds. Everybody from the valet to the housekeepers. Those are the people. We're all Forbes 5-star trained. So again, your apartment is gorgeous. The views, we have the park. You close your door, you don't even know you're in Midtown. But then once you walk out, every possible amenity of Raleigh is at your doorstep. But it really is the associates. I am turning 65 next month, and I have worked for a lot of people, and I have never followed anybody. But when Jaime, who was the executive, Jaime Pacheco, who was the executive director of Woodland Terrace, came over the Cardinal, and he asked me to come, I followed him, and I would follow him blindly. It's leadership, it's involvement, it's the passion and purpose of every associate at the Cardinal.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, so now we get questions and answers. There you go.
Oh, great.
Well timed, Nancy.
Yay!
Okay, I'm sitting here thinking, I'm from a community that has just a few thousand back in the Midwest. There's only 3 facilities, so it takes a family no time at all to visit each one and make their decision. It's also a lot of county people, so it's not just that, and I'm amazed they only have 3, but in some days I'm glad they have 3. My cousins are one of them. How in the world, or is there a county agency here that you can go to I mean, you almost have to know, well, I want this one or I want this one. What I'm understanding, is there any kind of a place a person can go to get some?
I would say resources for seniors.
There are resources
I
for
hope you know what
seniors.
I
Yes,
don't know.
yes,
It's an abundance of choices.
I mean,
Yes.
it's huge.
There's resources for seniors.
Fun
They've been in
programs.
existence for a long time.
I was on their board of directors, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, so they've got kind of a
Resources
system.
for seniors. Mm-hmm.
get their guide.
Senior
Get that
resource guide.
They
Senior
might have
resource
some.
guide.
It used to be printed, it's not anymore, it's only online.
Oh.
Yeah.
that's
They quit printing it.
Oh, well, I remember when I was on the board.
But
I
that's
mean,
a great
to me, I think
resource.
I'm able to stay home with my long term. And so I'm not as, I need to double check and I know that, I shouldn't say I think. But, I mean, if these people are counting on it, I'm just like, I wouldn't know where to begin. You know,
And I was gonna say, and Nancy, the biggest thing is, in the resource for seniors, it's gonna have everything in there. It's gonna have communities that are just independent and just assisted living, or it's gonna have those kinds of things.
I think
So,
there had to be some, I just thought we didn't want to.
so, but
I've actually
for
still
life,
published
for
it.
life
I
plan
know, I do too.
communities, there's only 9 of us. Is there even 9 of us in Wake County that are life plan communities? So that drops your number of things, places to go visit tremendously. So, I mean, that would, and of course I'm biased, but that would be what I would research first.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you don't need, yeah, you want to buy your house, well, I can't be in my house anymore, so I don't need to think about that. I mean, there's just too many things to think about. Fortunately, my cousin got in the one she wanted, and as many trips to the hospital as she's had, she's kept it. You know, and I'm just glad of that her health has not changed, because she's in the easiest way.
And it's about breaking it down too, because of course you get overwhelmed because there's independent and assisted, there's assisted and memory care. Exactly. So
Oh, what about pets? You get to take the pets?
No, we take
Absolutely.
I would never work in a place that didn't take that.
That would be,
Well, you would never,
or pet friendly. You
Most-
get me if you wouldn't take my kitty.
I think most do.
people would come and they couldn't, we didn't take.
Yeah, I mean, that's been,
Take me, take my kid.
And a lot of people will look in their, just kind of in their, where they live, just their surroundings.
Right.
So, I mean, like,
Oh, it's a
Hayes
kitty, we
Garden
don't
Place-
need to take her out at night. She does
Yeah,
everything in the
yeah.
house.
But I mean, as far as choosing a place, I
That's
think
right.
some people start kind of right where they're living. So if there's a community close by where they're living, they'll start with that community, and then they might go look at others.
and then, and I think that's a great place to start that, is go to a place
in your
near you,
community.
and then once you tour, you go and look at an independent, look at a continuing care, and you'll see the differences, because everybody wants to stay in their home, and that's exactly what we want to do. We want you to stay in a home just with us, and because staying in your home, and again, this is rhetorical, you have to think, what does that mean? Does it mean I'm familiar with this, or does it mean I'm really enjoying this? Like, if you have 2 stories, how many times do you actually go upstairs? And then 2, especially if you're bringing in care, sometimes your house becomes a prison, because then you're waiting on your daughter to come. And that was my mother. I would go spend all Saturday with her, and then I'd go to leave trying to go home and relax or something. She's like, when am I going to see you again? I'm not that interesting. So once she was at Abbotswood, I was able to know, at least she's eating, at least she has people, and interesting people her own age that know what she was talking about with the depression.
Can I just ask a question of all you guys, because you're all in sales, and I've been hesitant to do that, because I feel like I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get a sell job, a pressure. And I just wanna look around and know the financial breakdown and all that stuff.
So I can speak to that. I think we're all on the same page. We're all on the same page.
Well, we'll see.
No, we'll see. I feel like we're all on the same page on this. But honestly, our job is to educate you all. We want you to end up where you are going to be happiest, where your life is just going to be wonderfully fulfilled. And so we want you to come talk to us. We want to tell you all about Hayes Barton Place. Not a sales pitch, just to tell you what we're offering. And if you are talking to us and you're saying, well, gosh, that's really not what I wanted, we'll say, well, then you need to look XYZ. Or we'll just thank you for coming in. And we encourage people to look all around. And I know other places do too, because
You are correct.
at the end of the day, we want y'all to be where you are going to be happiest. So that's all of our job, is to educate you and tell you what's out there.
Yeah, we don't like unhappy residents.
No.
They're not good.
And
You
each-
run into them in an elevator, on a tour, and it's all over.
And each community has a different feel, and
That's right.
you
Yes.
have to.
Can you
You
just
have
make an
to-
appointment or walk in or?
It's
Well,
best
appointment.
It's best to make an appointment.
Just like
Because-
looking for a house, you've
Yeah.
gotta,
Yeah.
see it.
Because you may want a
Exactly.
2-bedroom, but somebody else may want a 1-bedroom. So we're gonna tailor the appointments to the things that what your interests are.
And we find out about it. We all do discovery, because I will tell you, I've had people, I refuse to go up in the tower, no, and I want a 2-bedroom, and 1-bedroom, 19th floor. I mean, it's crazy how it works. But no, we don't,
I would.
we've got enough to do, I think, that we don't want to be pains in the neck. And
So-
there's enough calls coming in, I feel.
Yes.
So just one thought for those of you that might be mulling this over. If you want to sit down and have a conversation with me, I've toured a lot of these, not every community. I haven't been in Hayes Barton yet because it's not completed. But I've toured a lot of these communities, and I have these conversations on a pretty regular basis with clients who say, I'm not sure if I should just do independent or if a life care community is right for me. And so one of the things we can do is kind of like house shopping. sometimes you know better what you don't want to begin with than what you want, right?
Right.
Because I can tell, I don't like tutor. I can't stand tutors. I just don't like, it's dark to me, you know what I mean? So like I can mark that
We're
right
not
off the
tutors.
list. Yeah, I'm not really a tutor kind of girl. So if you kind of, if you have those things that you say, listen, I'm really looking to do X, Y, and Z, it will help narrow down. And so then you don't have maybe 9, you may have 2 or 3.
Right.
Right? Or you may look at a couple of independent and then look at a couple of life plan. And that will help you narrow it down and decide if it's even right for you, right? Because there's no harm in looking.
We don't grab your checkbooks, we don't make.
No,
Right.
not at all.
Yeah. Yes, Carol.
I have a couple of questions. One of them, it reminds me of when taking our son for colleges.
It's exactly like
Yeah.
It's like, he got that gut feeling where I wanted him to go. He knew as soon as he got on this beautiful campus, but his gut feeling is what led him. Okay, so that's what it sort of feels like to me. And number 2, in order to remain competitive, what you all have is not identical for this and this and this, but when it all shakes down, to be competitive, you have to be somewhat on the same page. So, if you give X number of dollars for meals and have Y number of dollars for entrance, somebody else might be A and B there, but it sort of shakes itself out.
Meals are
Otherwise,
important.
if you're way off
Yeah.
with expenses, you're going to be out of the ballpark if your amenities are similar.
Well, I think the biggest thing that I've realized over the years is that life plan communities all have the same goal in mind, and that is to keep you up and doing and learning and everything as long as we can, but when you need that care, we've got that right there for you. How you pay for it, we're all a little different, just what you're saying, we're all a little different. So some of us will fit pocketbooks, some pocketbooks better than others. So like I said, the options you all have to be able to see all the different kinds. We've got an equity model in Wake County that you can check out. So there's lots of opportunity for you to pick and choose. But our goal is, I think, unequivocally, our goal is to keep you healthy and moving and doing and take care of you for as long as you need care.
Other questions?
What is the average age of people going into?
It's interesting because we have the 2 phases. Even though it's one big community, it's a youngerish group that moved into the Cardinal. So in the East Tower, it's 79.2, and in our Legacy, it's 82.
That's me.
Man, I get a vision.
That's me.
Ours is about, our average move-in age is around 79. The average age of residents like 82, because we still have residents that are living independently that are 102.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, so you have somebody who's 64 living independently, but you have somebody also who's 102. So that average age just kind of goes up because you have that. I mean, you still have somebody living independently at 102. I mean, going strong. Energizer Bunny. That's what we
Because
call
they
her.
moved to a life plan, I might say.
Yes, yeah.
And women to men ratio? Is
Heavily
it 60,
women.
40, 60 women, 40?
I mean, on average, about
I would
that.
say, yeah. I mean, we have more couples in East Tower, that's 60% couples.
Yeah, and we have more couples in the South Campus, because we have 2 campuses. I mean, they're all on the same property, but, yeah.
Okay.
For Hayes Barton Place, our youngest couple when they move in will be, I think, 70, 72. And our oldest person when they move in, I think will be, I think she'll be 93. Which we're just very proud of her.
You're taking such good
Well, we
care of
hadn't
them.
even had a chance to take care of her yet, but we're gonna work on that.
You better learn.
So, and
She can teach you how to do it.
so I think our ladies are trending middle to late 70s, and our gentlemen late 70s to early 80s is where I think we'll
91, that's right.
And I think that's pretty consistent.
Let's see, I think that's awesome.
I think the age ranges are pretty consistent
Yeah.
with all of us.
We've got somebody who's 58 who moved in because of the health care and because of diagnoses, right?
Right.
And then we just celebrated older Americans Month, and we gave out 6 cards to people that are over 100. So,
Whoa.
I have another question related to age. Is because I know as you move through the community, your costs go up. All right. You know,
When you
it
move
costs,
into care.
yeah, when you move into like assisted living,
It can,
and
it depending.
your costs go up. So is your buy-in fee related to how old you are when you go in? If you're independent.
well, I think that, no.
No.
Oh, okay. It's
No.
all the same.
Yeah, it's all the same. We don't have a medical requirement. We just have a very benign physician's form.
Okay.
And, you know, like in good health, that kind of thing.
All right.
And, yeah, and our community fee, 60% goes back into labor and the rest goes back into capital improvements. So,
And then my question related, another thing, is that, does everybody have to go in on independent living?
no.
Or you can go in at another stage, but it might cost more money?
At Springmore, you can go into assisted living, but you may not go into skilled nursing. We have what's called a closed license. So our skilled nursing is only for our residents.
Okay.
So that way we can guarantee their residency. So we have a closed license. So you could come in at assisted living if we had availability, but not the skilled nursing side.
Same as, yeah, you can even come in if we had availability in memory care.
Yeah, same here.
Same,
Same.
if we had availability, but, and it is, the need for skilled nursing is so huge because, I don't know about you guys, you must guys get calls. I get at least 3 a week. My mother needs, it's so sad. Yes.
One of the advantages I've observed when I've toured is it seems the staff in these life plan communities stay longer and have a lot of experience. So I think that's a benefit. Personally, I think that's a benefit. When you look at this, if you have really high quality staff, you know you're going to have really high quality care and it's guaranteed and you have a guaranteed spot. So you're not coming out of a hospital scrambling to find an open bed anywhere. And that's really a lot of peace of mind, I think, to a lot of people. Would you all agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Carol, did you have a
I
question?
did. And it tags on to what you just said about continuing care. Is each of you privately owned, or do you accept Medicare patients in your not skilled nursing?
In the license to care.
Yeah.
We're privately owned, and yes, Medicare in skill, but Medicare doesn't pay for housing for anybody.
I don't think
So none of
Medicare
you
pays so
has
much,
that.
yeah?
My experience has been, because I had to go somewhere after 2 surgeries, was at Croasdale, and Medicare paid for it.
Yes.
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 But you all don't have it.
We'll be Medicare certified, yes, so we will be able to,
Hayes Barton will be.
yes. Well, all of us will be.
We all are.
No, we're not.
But it's,
Y'all not Medicare
We're not
certified?
Medicare certified.
Okay, we will be Medicare certified.
Because we're giving the residents those 30 days already, so that we're not placing the same parameters on the use of like short-term care. So in other words, if you have a resident who needs short-term care, let's say it's a couple and one spouse has memory issues and the other spouse wants to go on vacation with the family and the spouse who has memory issues can't, they can go straight over to respite care in the Stewart Health Center and use those eligible days. So basically, the eligible days we're providing is in place of Medicare, but any other service that is provided, like the therapy services, the doctors that we have on site, they all take Medicare.
yeah.
And the
Okay,
supplemental, so that part.
That 90 days that you speak of, is that lifetime there at Springmore?
You can
Is that
approve a
per
maximum
couple?
of 90.
I'm sorry?
Each resident has a maximum of 90. You can accrue up to 90. If you're still independent and you use 30 days, you can accrue 30 days back. You just can't have more than 90 at any given
Continuous.
time.
And that has to do with the amount of time. So for every month, for instance, you earn another day or
It's
whatever.
every year.
Oh, okay.
So as soon as you move in, you receive 30 days. The following January, you receive another 30.
Okay.
The following January, another 30.
So you bank those days.
So with us, it's just, and correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. It's just like if you went to a rehab out in the rear, and we would do that too. We have the 100-day limit in our skilled.
But that's the Medicare.
Through Medicare. Through Medicare, so then after that, we're private pay just like anybody else.
Okay. Yes, Nancy?
Everybody may know this, but I don't. Obviously, when you say they go to, they come in just fine, assisted living, pretty much independent. So when you all deem, like you said at one point, a lot of falls, obviously you have to move them. Even when they come in, I would guess they would have to have a doctor's, you have to have a doctor's
Physician's report.
Yeah,
Yes.
well, I mean a physical, probably just a general physical. And then you would need that before you go in. And then of course, when you need to change them, I would get, do you have to go back? Do they have to go back to confirm, yes, they need more care? Just curious.
You're seeing them every day.
Right, oh, I
And, you know,
understand.
and
But if the
so,
family kind of, oh no, they're fine, you know.
yeah.
Well, then they,
Well,
And
we don't,
that happens.
and we don't push them along, so if the family says they're
No, but
fine.
I'm saying obviously for their own protection, especially falls are the worst.
Yeah.
Right, but we still don't, we have to make sure they're safe. At the Cardinal,
Yes.
as long as they're
Safety is-
safe, that's it. If they continue to wander or they continue to fall and they continue, then we're gonna have harder conversations with the family. But just like Donna said, it's
I
not
mean,
just,
that falls back on you all if they aren't, you
Oh,
know.
oh,
really
and
needed.
our license, it falls back on the
Right,
license
so
of
we
the
have
agency,
to-
so it
we
has
have
to
to
have to be.
But that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
do you need them to see the doctor each step when you move them?
So like at Springmore, so yes, I mean, we're gonna have, you know, the medical information ahead of time before you move. But we have a resident care committee and they meet once a month. And so we're basically trying to get ahead of and have these conversations ahead of time to sort of plant the seed
Very
that we're
wise,
seeing
very
this.
wise. We have
And
to.
so we might recommend home care. So Springmore has their own home care agency, so you may want to have, let's start with home care. Is the resident not managing their medications? Let's try a 7-day med pack. Let's see how that works. So we're gonna do everything we can to keep you independent in a safe manner. But we will have those hard conversations ahead of time about what the next steps might be. Because yes, some families are in denial about what's happening.
Because I mean, like most people, like, I don't want my family even knowing that I'm in one. I won't go any further. That's just bloodline. Legally, I've got peeps that are the executor and the POAs.
Right.
And, you know,
And residents, so Springmore has an outpatient clinic. So, you know, some residents continue with their same primary care physician outside of the community. Some of our residents will transition to our physicians on site. And so we have a better kind of pulse on what's happening with the resident because they've transitioned to our physician. So, I mean, there is a doctor, we may ask for the doctor's input.
right, that's what I'm saying, because essentially you're just watching them, you don't have that
Right.
good rubber stamp you need. And like I said, I'm not saying that you would. And I know just from my family and the daughter, she lives 5 hours away, but for everything they do, I mean, she's always in communication with them, but she doesn't always have to be there.
Right.
And
Exactly.
that's just mammoth for her, because she's got a family.
That's an
Yeah.
advantage to what we do, right?
It is an advantage.
Yeah.
And it takes a tremendous load off of the family.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's why you're
That was
the
mine.
y'all are the experts, and that's why people bring their loved ones to you all.
Well, it's so nice, because I went through this with my in-laws, and I was the outlaw, but I was the closest one to them. And so my sister-in-law lived in Atlanta, so they would call, Scotia Village would call my sister-in-law in Atlanta and say, well, this is what we're seeing happening, and this is what our recommendation is. Well, Jan could not get over to Laurinburg from Atlanta, an 8-hour ride. So she'd call me, and I'd go down there and I'd say, Jan, whatever they're telling you is absolutely correct. You ought to see what I'm seeing down here. So, I mean, that's nice that Jan and them could still have a life. They could go on vacation. They could do things that they wanted to do and know that Mimi and Dottie were being taken care of. That is the beauty of right there.
And it's a help to you, because there's years about that person you don't know. Most people do.
It takes a
And they
village.
can immediately, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's a good,
It is, it's a good system.
I don't know the word, but anyway, between you all. Camaraderie.
Okay, other questions? Gosh, you guys are quiet today.
Are you kidding? I said maybe I'll
lot to
So just a reminder that all of the seminars are available for replay on my website, which is southernaccenhomes.com. You can click on this QR code when you get to the website. There's 3 little lines. Click on those and it says the Real Truth About Seminar Series, and you click on that and all of the seminars are there to watch and replay. There's also each monthly newsletter that are available in the library on the website. This month's is about, ironically, continuing care communities. And there's a checklist. If you don't have one of these newsletters, you're welcome to pick one up on the way out. If you'd like to receive the monthly newsletters, please fill out your survey on your clipboard before you leave and hand that in to me. But there's a checklist here of things to ask when you go and you're touring. So that might help you as well as you're working through the process of just considering all of this. Okay, so good information on here and also the checklist.
Very good. Thank you, ladies.
We have information for people to take.
Yes.
We're also having, is this okay if I talk about this?
Sure.
We're having an event called The Art of Downsizing and Local Real Estate Update. So it's a great way to come. We're providing lunch. Learn a little bit, we'll do like a very basic tour, like maybe a tour model and that's it. But it's a good first step to the Cardinal, and also the big thing, because that's the other thing, how many times do we hear, oh, I want to move into Hayes Barton, but I have to downsize first. It's like, so this is a little bit of help. It's so if you're interested, I can leave some of these out. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But
you all have information about your individual communities. Yeah, and then upcoming seminars. Next month is how to communicate with adult children, and that may be very very helpful. If some of you have children who may or may not be on board with the idea of you moving to a senior community or whatever you're thinking about, this is how to have that conversation with them. Then we'll have buying, building, or remodeling, so trying to work through deciding about those things. So once July is finished, we will have seminars every month for the rest of the year. I just finished scheduling those. The postcards are ordered, so I'll have the dates for you next month. We will be switching from Tuesday to Wednesday, and we will go from this room to an even bigger room to accommodate us, which we didn't fill this for today, but that's okay. And some of the subjects for the last end part of the year, one of them is Decluttering 101. We have one about assisted living communities. There's one on caregivers. I'm trying to think of what else. One is technology for seniors. Okay, and I don't remember them all, so I've missed one of those. But anyway, those are all upcoming. We're scheduled for the rest of the year. Well, Philip will give you the Cliff's Notes. That's what you're going to get in that class. And then twice a month I sponsor breakfast here at the Senior Center. And I say I do, but it's really a team effort because my neighbor Bob comes with me. And really, we've kind of got it down to not just granola and fruit, but we bring quiche or some kind of goodie and cappuccino, and so come see us. We'll be here Thursday morning, okay? So thank you all for coming. Don't forget to hand us your surveys, and you're welcome to talk to ladies here in the back. Thank you. One other quick plug. Melanie Crippen is back here in the back of the room. So I serve on the board at the Senior Network, and Melanie is the head of that organization. She's really the beating heart. She and her sisters, this is a nonprofit organization that helps seniors in Wake County, and we're having a golf classic, a golf tournament on September 12th at Heritage. So we're looking for both corporate sponsors and also golfers to participate. The whole goal is to raise $30,000 for a used van that will have a lift, because one of the things these ladies and their volunteers do is help people get to the doctor and different things that seniors need in the area. So if you want to support that, we would love to have you on board with us. And Melanie or myself, you can speak to either one of us about that. So, okay, thanks for coming, Melanie. Glad you're here.
Thank you
all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.